Hey guys, how's it going? Just back in the shed again, and we're working on that 261, and we'll just crack straight into it. I'm going to put the bearings in, and we will put the crankcases together, just like we did in the 4.6. So put the flywheel side down here, and I'm going to put that together. Just got it set up. At the moment, I haven't put it in. But I got it set up to run. So I've got a big that's a 24 millimeter socket on there, the big bolt running through to a 27 mil socket there, and washer's ready to press and pull that bearing through, because I don't heat up my bearings, I don't heat up my cases or freeze the bearings or any of that kind of stuff. I don't think it's a good thing to be doing, as I've said many times. So I just cold press them, and for this, sockets are your best friend. Like they fit perfectly on here, and yeah, they easily drive those bearings through. So well, let's just get into it anyway. We'll start on the process of that. I'll just grab a 19 mil socket here, deep impact, but I'm just going to be using it not on an impact driver, not for this, just on the trusty socket driver here, whatever you call it. And this side of the case where the bearing's going in here, I've put some grease just so it slides nicely in, because that's what you kind of need it to do. So I'm just gonna start easing this in now, and it's just sliding in there really nice. See it going in, and we're home. Too easy. And you'll feel it just firm up, and you don't need to go any more than that. That just ends up breaking stuff if you do, because you just don't need that pressure on it. You have to use different sort of socket setups and different things for different size saws and stuff to be able to get the different bearings in and stuff like that. Mainly for the flywheel side now, I do this with sort of like throw together homemade sort of tools. But yeah, deep impacts help a lot. They just got that depth to them, and like that's just a galv bolt, big I don't know, 12-13 mil bolt or something like that, and the nut for it. So it's got plenty of length, and the good thing about this bolt is that the square part there just fits nicely into here, and so it just holds that bolt in, stops them from turning. You can pull things through. Yeah, and then just another shorter socket, 27 mil the other side, some washers to pack it out, and that's about all you need. So you can see that bearing's just firmly in there now. It's right where I want it to be. Yeah, good as, no dramas. So it's as easy as that to cold press a bearing. So why would you bugger around with heat and all that, you know? Why would you put yourself in danger with burns and things like that, and put your equipment in danger with heating it up? That's what I think anyway. I mean, other people are good at heating up cases and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, good for them. Good for them if that's the way they can do it. But I prefer cold press. I think cold pressing would probably be the way Stihl does it. I'd be guessing at that, but it's probably the way. But anyway, enough about that. Let's crack on with the PTO side. We'll get the crank in there and the bearing in there. I'm just putting away all my bits and pieces so it's out of the road. And things get easier from here on in because I've got proper tools that I bought off Stihl that really do the trick well. And so what I do now, because I've got that tool set up, I'll put the bearing onto the crank. So this is your PTO side of the bearing. You can see it's longer. It hasn't got that taper like the flywheel side. Bearing, okay, it's a bearing with it. It's got that little edge on it, and it's indented. See, it's offset so that the seal can sit in there. So this goes on here, all right, and I'll just punch that on now. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. Get it in the vise so it's nice and supported. So you can see that that's all set here. Get my 24mm, yeah, 24mm, and I'm just going to knock that on there. The camera might fall over a bit when I'm doing this, but basically I'm just going to drive that down there. Now once this is in the crankcase, once this bearing's in the crankcase, I will even up the gap on the crank where it sits in between the cases, so that this bearing is not, so that this side is not hard over. Okay, so you want to look at the crank and where it sits, and just even that up, so that you're you don't end up running your conrod hard over on one side and it's like that, sitting like that, and creating a heat. You want it sort of in that middle a bit, and just ensure that that crank's running in the middle. So that bearing's on there now, and that's easy to do. Didn't hit it very hard, and I'm hitting the outer edge of the race, okay, not affecting the bearing in any way. Right, now we can move on to, just get that side out of the way. And my boy's playing or doing something. So here we got the PTO side of the case. You can see it's got the bar studs on there and everything. We just need to find the, I think it's this one. No, it's not. I just need to find the proper end to go in there. Is it this one? No, must be missing one. It's not that one. It's not that one. Oh, here we go. So if you buy this Stihl kit, the proper tool you want to use for it has got that part number on it there. It's a PJ91036, and that fits your 2 6s. But this is not a Stihl part, okay? That's a part number from Stihl. If you buy this kit, you can look at this video and go, ha, that's the one I want. If you buy this, okay, and that comes along with this. You've seen that before on other videos as well. If you're not a new watcher. And we've just hit 250 subscribers as well, so that's pretty cool. 250 subscribers, or just over 251. So thanks guys, really appreciate the support and subscribing to the channel, and follow me along on this saw building journey. It's pretty cool. Right, so I'll just set this up now. So you connect this up. Right, just slide this on there. It's got multiple holes so it can fit different size saws, but this one just fits right there. Let me just get this. Is that 19mm? No, it's not. This is. Okay, snip that up, and that pretty much sits center in there now. And you can put this part on. There. Remember, this is a left-hand thread. Took me a while to get used to this contraption, but once I did, I quite like it. Quite like it. Okay, so we'll just put a bit of grease in around that. This with my trusty little grease gun. You don't want dry metal on dry metal because this has all been degreased, been cleaned and degreased. And we'll just put that around there. This goes onto here. Left hand thread. And just wind it in there. Is it going on? No, I'm doing it the wrong way. Be there forever. I was going right hand. Anyway. So. Okay, that's in there enough now. It's got all of the thread. That's really important. You want to make sure it's got all of the thread in there. And I just tuck it in the vise. So I can keep an eye on what's going on pretty much. And we'll just bring this in by hand. Right, bring this in by hand just to make sure it's going to bed up right. And hold nice and straight in there. Alright, and that's going to just pull that bearing in nice. Here we go, I've just got the 19mm on there. Soft as. I'm virtually using no pressure on here. Like, it's so easy to do. If you're building saws, guys, get this tool. It's on the Hutzel website. Flipping fantastic. That bearing's just going in smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. And that's sitting just right there. So now what you do, once that part's done, take that off, release it. So that's off there now. So remember that, that's very important to do that first. That's what got me hung up. I used to try and sort of get this off and do, you know, try and get that off and not release that pressure on there. That was a bit of a mistake. I used to muck around and the thing would start undoing again and all that sort of thing. Now I'm just getting a spanner down in there. Sorry, you can't really see. I'm just getting a spanner down in here to get onto that part of the crank there. Right, that just loosened that off a bit, and then you just back this off. It comes off, it's all done. It's easy as pie, eh? So that's that bit all done, that can go away now. I forget how much that tool cost me, but you know, it wasn't expensive and easy as pie. Might as well have one. Alright, so we've got our crank in, as you can see. We're away. And that's spinning nicely. So that's sort of the first sections of the saw that you put together. Make sure your bearings are in, cranks are in. Now we can move on to the other part here, and that's putting our cases together, and that's a bit of a different operation, I guess you could say, as far as things go. But I don't know. This is the kind of fun part of the, I guess. I mean, it's all fun. I love building every single part of a saw, you know, it's all fun, but I love putting the bearings in, I love putting the crank together, piston down and everything like that, the seals in, and once that part of the saw's done, it's like, you know, all the worry work is out of the way. It's such all stuff that I worry about, you know, where it's fitting together and things like that, which is pretty cool. Right, so now we can, now we've got that done, we'll chuck our saw in, came off its mount. Alright, chuck our saw in the chainsaw vise here. And then it can hold it for us. I say it every time, but man, if you're building saws and you haven't got this, you need this. That's so good. Look at that. It's so good. It's just a third arm, and you don't have a saw clunking around on your bench and things slipping and you can't see things, and you know, it's just so good. Anyway, I go on about that too much. Right, I'm going to slip a bit of grease in there. So that's just in the middle of that flywheel side there. Okay, so that's greased up. Then after that we need our case bolts. And our T27 Torx. Bolts. Sorry guys, I'm just sorting through these case bolts here. Just trying to get the cleanest ones. Cleanest 5. Because as usual, I didn't prep much up before this. I just come in here and start doing stuff, you know. I forget that I need to clean some stuff out, get some stuff done before filming, as usual, but never mind. It's all part of the process, it's all part of the fun. I actually quite like cleaning all the parts and everything. I actually cleaned the cases beforehand, which is cool. I knew I needed to do that at least. So I'll just blow these out so we make sure we can get some good purchase on them. Where's my ear? Right, case bolts, nice and clean. 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them. And the other thing we need is our gasket. And oh, there is the other bit as well that we need, which is this part, I think. This part. So I'll just wipe this up quickly. It's another plastic part. I think it sort of fits in with the case as it goes together, I think. Clean that up a bit better later. Just fit in here or something, or like that. Not too sure how it fits in now. Oh wait, that side go in there. Oh no, that side goes in there. Yeah, so it sort of gets sandwiched in the case. So, sorry, this bit here does get sandwiched in the case. When you put it together, so you have to go make sure that's in there, okay? So it fits into that shape there, see that? And it goes into there, and then it's got some these clip parts on the end here, which go in together for that, alright? And then that all fits together into the saw. So, we've got our gasket, nice clean gasket, and you can chuck that in there. That up there, gasket in, and the gasket sits nice in there. I like it. Oh, I like it. And then we'll put that together and we'll get that plastic bit in there as we go along. Squeezes down there onto that taper, hold it together, and I'll just tip it on its side. Now that's sitting there, and we'll start putting some of these bolts through. We've got one down in, sorry if I'm in the way, one down in there. Is it? Yep, these are interesting, these ones, because the actual bolt seems to fit through the locator dowels. Pull them. Alright, sorry if I'm on the way again. Just get something to hold that away. Cool. Put it the other way. Just holding that conrod out of the way, because it gets a bit in the way. Okay, so one down the bottom. There. That's all through the gasket as well. It's just not biting on those screws for some reason. Oh, there we go. One started. You just got to start these easy, eh? Just let the, yep, that one started. Just like on my 4.6 video. Beautiful. They're all started now. Because the whole idea is that if you're doing it this way, the way that I do it, by using these threads to pull the flywheel side onto that tapered edge of the crank, of the flywheel side crank, then you've got to be very careful, and you just want to do it incrementally. So just little movements, and work your way around these screws. Now I'm just going to chuck in the one at the front to help bring the front together. I think this I'll put the other one that's been covered by the chainsaw vise on later, but there's one down here that I can chuck through. And that's about all you need. So now that I know that's all in there, I will chuck this piece in. So that can all fit in there. Fit in there nice. Gotta go up there, like that. Oh, that should find its own way. That can come out. Don't need that anymore really. I'll keep an eye on the crank, and we'll flip this on its side, so I can work my way around. So when you go in, I'm just going to go down here because I want to watch what the crankcase is doing. And I say incrementally because the crank moves together. As it moves together, it's going to go like this, and so you just want to go. You don't want to crank on anything, because otherwise you're going to strip out threads and all sorts of things will go wrong. But there, you find them sort of the next loose screw, and just work your way around until it's firm. And no more. Like, definitely don't want to wail on it, eh? Like, Just make sure this is going to sit down nice as we come down on that locator dowel. But yeah, new saws, the locator dowels, the old saws, the locator dowels used to be in separate positions, but now the locator dowels are created hollow, and the bolts go through them. The case bolts go through them. Right. So these three here are the most important ones to be working on the saw. You don't really have to worry about these two up in the front. I just put that other one in there to help sandwich the saw together in proper place. It just helps. You probably don't need it. You put it in later, but I like to. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just going doop, 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 doop. And that's the saw just slipping together very nicely. Down the bottom now. It's tight enough. By now you're a decent way into the threads. It's still not a good idea to go hauling on everything, because you just want to take it down just a little bit at a time. As I say, incrementally. And then we'll look at adjusting that crank. How's that going? Oh yeah, enough on there. That gasket's sitting all right. Plastic bit's sliding in. Check that plastic bit's sliding in nice. Clipped it in on that flywheel side, and I'm just watching it as it hooks into that other side of the case. I think it's flexible enough. If you forgot this or it went wrong, you could probably pop it out. But just putting it in now is just probably a little bit easier, maybe. Unless for you it's another thing to watch out for, and you're just like, yeah, I don't want to think about that while I'm doing this, you know. Right. So I'm down enough where I don't really need to watch anymore. I'm just going to go by feel of those bolts. As they can be tightened down again. And this case is just about together now. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. It's just how you want a saw to be. So far, this saw has gone together really, really smoothly, which I'm grateful for. And I'll show you something else when I flick it up the other way as well. Oh crikey, did those just snap? Man, those snap so easy. I didn't put any pressure on them. I think I just snapped it, guys. I'm not panicking that much though, because get them right out. Just, oh, sorry. Ooh, bit of strain on that. It didn't snap. It didn't break, but it stressed the screw. I'll show you in a minute. This is a first for me because I'm used to these case bolts being a bit more resilient. Wow, it's you can't crank on those at all. Like, not that I crank on them, but like, yeah, you really got to watch the what's going on. I've got others, so it's not a bad thing. But yeah, so look at that, and I pulled on those just a tiny bit. I'm used to the, I guess, the good old crank bolts that that can really you don't crank on them. You never crank on them, but these just, that's genuine Stihl, and it's just blown apart. The other ones like it as well. Just went a bit too far, and like yeah. So that's not cool. I mean, it's down as far as it's going to go anyway. I'll just put this one in. We'll get some others. I'm kind of glad I caught that on film because they are really lightweight. They're really lightweight. And it's good to be able to show you guys some of the stuff ups that I do, so that you can learn, you know. You don't want to be doing that sort of thing. And I wasn't cranking on them. Really wasn't. Maybe I need to finally get a torque driver, a torque wrench for these type of things. If I'm going to be working on newer saws like this, maybe I do. Look up the torque specs. Because I've definitely over torqued those screws. Which is good. No harm done. I mean, if they had a broken inside there, I mean, I stopped because I heard something, you know, and it just went pop. Yeah. Just really cautious now. Okay, that one doesn't want to go anymore. Oh, that one can be for the other one. Yeah, so I wasn't cranking on them, they just popped. So, but I mean, all these screws are accessible from the other side, so it'll be easy to put a drill in and get them out. There's no sort of drama as that. There's no stress there. But yeah, very interesting. And that wants to stop about there. So that is that, people. Very important lesson. Be careful. Be careful when you're turning screws. You probably all know that, and are probably laughing at me. But anyway, bidding for those. Good lesson, I reckon. Especially for me. But I had spare ones, so no drama. I'm just going to take this off here and put that other crank bolt in. and then I'll show you a little tip that I do with this method of putting the cases together. And the other screw just goes down here. I noticed Stihl used to put heat shields on the supply with like the 4.6s and stuff like that. They supply a heat shield, like one that goes across there, but there's nothing on the new saws. I wonder why. If anyone knows why, I'd like to know, just out of interest. That's it for that one, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm a happy chappy. Right, it's back in here, and that is your cases put together. And that's what you get with, I suppose, is different. You know, you might get other saw makers and they're probably professionally edit their stuff. I don't know. A few of them might edit their videos. I don't. You get to see it, how it happens. And sometimes I break stuff. So the crank now is a bit tight. It's not turning too free in there. So I'm just going to have a look down there, and it's slightly over towards that PDO side. So I'm just going to get my, you know what I thought? I thought the other day about this, the old rubber. I'm just going to knock this across here, because it just binds up a bit on that flywheel side. Alright, just give it a knock with the rubber hammer, and that sets it. Okay, and that's actually set that perfectly in the middle of it as well. There's no that's free flowing now. Okay, and I chromated it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, and that is just beautiful now. Love that, love that, love that free motion. So guys, that's cases for MS261cm M-tronic model. This is the latest they have out from Stihl in this model, the 261. And there you go. That's how to put a crankcase together and how to be careful with screws. Very important that if you get into a situation like that, don't freak out. If you need to, just walk away from it for a while, and or even overnight, pack up your tools, or just leave it. You know, push it to the side and leave it. Have a think about it. Don't. Often, the more you try and do to fix it right then, and unless it's a simple, easy fix like this was today, you'll often do more damage, I find. Well, that's probably what I find anyway. But yeah, and that plastic part is just slid in really nicely, and fits all in there. As I say, you could probably pop this in later. It's flexible enough. It's quite a flexible bit of plastic, but it was a bit nicer to pop it in with the rest of the saw on this build. And so we're about reached our usual time for a video, about 45 minutes, an hour. Try to keep them about that long, and that's the cases done for that saw. So next time I'm going to push on with this build. The 4.6 is still waiting there. Haven't done anything more with that, so that'll come. More parts for that. So this is part 2 for the 261, and she's all all together for the most part. Next time it'll be seals, which have got brand new fresh seals. I've got yeah, brand new fresh seals for it, because I think I was talking to my father today, who's a very good two-stroke mechanic. He's forgotten more about two-stroke than most people ever remember, and we're talking about this saw in particular. I was telling him what happened with it, and I think I'm right. I think the gudgeon clip definitely came out and blew apart the piston. So I think I'm right about that. And we're sort of talking about causes and things like that, and he said, well, with that computer, he said when he was working for Stihl, these M-tronics had just come out, so he hadn't worked on a lot of them, but he's thinking the computer, this is his thoughts of what happened. I think he's pretty right, because he says a lot of the time those clips come out as over revving, and that forces them out, and then you get that catastrophic failure. And so over revving, and I was like, yeah, but these saws have a rev limiter on them, so they can't do that. And he said, well, the rev limiter could have failed. And I said, yep, that's a possibility. Or he said, or there could have been a big heat problem with it or something like that. I said, yep, that's a possibility too. And he says, I reckon that there's been an air leak on the PTO side, and that that the solenoid or the computer's adjusted for it and adjusted for it and adjusted for it, so you never knew that there was an air leak. And that's what caused it in the end, that heat from the air leak, and running lean will do it. And so that's what failed. Now, I can't prove that because I didn't do a leak down test on it prior to pulling it apart. I didn't know, but if I find a saw like this again running the M-tronics and it's got catastrophic failure, I'll be doing a leak down test on it just to verify that. But so that's my thoughts, or Dad's thoughts anyway, on what happened with this saw. So it's had an air leak, developed an air leak. However that happened on the PTO side, I'm guessing. It's not often flywheel side. It can happen flywheel side, but not often. The solenoid is adjusted for it, and keep adjusting for it, and keep adjusting for it. So you're running the saw, you've no idea that there's an air leak, because the computer's compensating and tuning around that issue for you without you knowing. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to tune and level up things for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And that's caused a catastrophic failure of the saw eventually. So it's an undetected air leak on the PTO. And yeah, that's Dad's diagnosis without having the ability to tear apart the saw and have a look at it. That's his diagnosis, and I think he's probably right. I think he's right, but we can't prove it. We can't prove it. But next time, if I find one of these, which I probably will, sorry, just putting my hammer back. Random duck out of screen and put the hammer back. Could have done that after, but yeah, that's what we reckon. We probably will find another one of these. That same issue, because the seals will fail eventually. Yeah, but anyway, just rabbiting on now. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to flick me an email with anything, it's kiwiladchainsaws@gmail.com. kiwiladchainsaws@gmail.com. You can shoot me photos of your saws or questions or anything if you want to contact me outside of YouTube. I have been a little bit slow in answering some of those emails, so I apologise. Just busy life at the moment, selling a house and things, but all good, all good. Yeah. Oh, just before I go, remember to grease this. Okay, so I'm going to do it now. Yeah, that's all nicely greased now. And I'll grease inside those before I put the seals in next time as well. Okay. Now that grease is a lithium grease and it'll all melt away. When the saw starts, and then the is it starting to rain? It's starting to rain. Yeah, and then the saw will take over, lubricating it with its two-stroke mix. So guys, thanks for watching again. Hope you're looking forward to the next episode of this as much as I am. I'll say Stihl for life, and we'll see you later. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.